Welcome back to Growth TV, an ACG production. I'm Carolyn Vallejo. If generative AI was the latest frontier for artificial intelligence, AI agents are fast approaching the horizon. Beyond content generation, agentic AI takes initiative to achieve a goal, a capability that TresVista co-founder and managing director Abilash Jaikumar, also EVP of ACG New York, says offers a big opportunity for private equity firms. He's here to tell us more. Abilash, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today, Carolyn.
Now, the middle market PE ecosystem is no stranger to the concept of AI, but actually implementing the technology can be a whole other story. What are some of the risks that PE firms are facing today by not integrating AI in really meaningful and effective ways?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, but more than thinking about it just broadly as how does middle market private equity integrate AI and AI agents, it's really thinking about it functionally in the sense of where is the opportunity to create efficiencies in investor relations, where is the opportunity in origination, where is the opportunity in deal execution, in portfolio monitoring and management, and general managing of the asset management business, fund accounting, management company accounting. And it's important to think of it in these functional areas because each function has its own unique use cases and opportunity sets and risks if you aren't leveraging AI. I think the energy in middle market quite often goes straight to the deal and the transaction, and that's where a lot of the mind share tends to flow. But the most obvious places to create operating efficiency right out of the gates are going to be the things before and after the deal, especially as it relates to investor relations and origination.
So now that agentic AI is kind of fast approaching the horizon here, how can technology in terms of agentic AI specifically overcome some of the adoption hurdles that we have seen?
So I think everyone knows they need to do something, right? And you broadly have people fall into two camps. People who are aware they don't know what they're supposed to do, so are kind of waiting and seeing and having conversations and thinking about what makes sense. And folks who are trying something, not knowing if it makes sense or not, but just putting themselves out there and trying to experiment. And the answer to doing it the right way is probably more of the latter, but having more of a structured approach. The challenge in middle market private equity is there aren't dedicated digital transformation teams within these firms that are going to lead the charge on vetting different service providers and vendors. And there are a number of them, right? It is a land grab right now. There are several firms with funding, with pedigree, trying to come to market with solutions. And it's really hard for the firms to really understand what makes sense or what doesn't. So often they just try what someone they know has said has tried. Now, within the world of agents, they broadly come in two flavors. One are firms who have a library of IP, so agents that are pre-built that can be plug and play. Now, those type of agents can be quick to be integrated and can usually add value right out of the gates. But in this industry, the type of folks that are in finance generally are very particular. So the challenge with those is it's never going to get things exactly the way you wanted it. This is an industry of people who want things exactly the way they wanted it. They wanted it yesterday. So the other alternative is to try to build your own agents. And that has its own complexity because you need the competency, not just in building agents, but to really have a deep understanding of how to map processes so that an agent can be built appropriately. Now, with each strategy, it isn't going to eliminate the human in the loop. And that's important for everyone to understand here. If you think that AI agents are going to eliminate body counts, it's not that. What it will do is create operating level and efficiencies. And if you come in with that perspective, then you can have success with it. And you can start with, one agenda and slowly incrementally move towards additional use cases and have incremental efficiency gains along the way.
Okay, now are there any specific applications and use cases within private equity where you see agentic AI as having the greatest impact?
So certainly in origination, there's a huge opportunity there to identify investment opportunities, triage them, right? Rank them for every investment firm has their own filtering criteria and priorities. So trying to identify which are the ones that are the most salient to go after so you can focus your energies more intelligently. Also, if you are successful in creating a large funnel of inbound opportunities, how do you go through them efficiently and intelligently and not accidentally cast out good opportunities with bad ones? And going just one step beyond that, the activity as part of triaging is actually doing initial research and screening and understanding what that business is and where that business sits in the context of the industry it's in. So it's certainly a huge opportunity for industry level research to be conducted by AI to get people more intelligent. And certainly in the middle market, a lot of firms are generalists by nature. Right? There are, certainly some specializations, media, telecom, but even within those fields, there's a broad range of companies that might fit the bill. So when you're a generalist, trying to get smart on an industry every time is very labor intensive. And this is where agentic AI can really help. And what TresVista has been doing for nearly 20 years is working with middle market private firms to become an operating efficiency solution from a services perspective. So we have a very large team of highly intelligent professionals mapped to clients all over the world. So our clients are actually looking to us to leverage that AI to make our professionals better. So we're able to blend that human in the loop with the technology to create a solution for our clients. That's going to be very hard for a middle market firm to be able to replicate themselves. Certainly, the largest firms in the world have the resources and the bandwidth and the people to create these solutions in-house. But a middle market private equity firm fundamentally wants to focus their energy on raising capital, sourcing deals, making good investments, and making good exits.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to switch gears a little bit here. You are EVP of ACG New York, and you have a long history with the chapter. Tell us what's going on with ACG NY and what chapter members can kind of come to expect maybe in the year ahead.
Yes, so it's exciting times for ACG globally as well as in New York. ACG New York has merged with ACG HQ, a few years ago, and coming out of COVID, there's a lot of excitement about the synergies that can be had by being part of a global chapter. And obviously, ACG New York is the largest chapter of all ACG chapters. It is New York City, after all. But there is going to be increasingly a focus on creating meaningful events. So less about more and more volume, but more about meaningful events where people can connect with each other. We have great deal sourcing events, family office network, bringing GPs with the banking community, and focusing on curating those connections as well. So we have a great staff at ACG as well as a very large volunteer board of people who are key stakeholders in the industry that ACG serves. So look forward to a lot of interesting events coming out of the last couple of years. And certainly we see, it's been an interesting time for private equity in terms of fundraising and deal volume, but definitely the activity is picking up.
Excellent. That's great news. And we'll be watching ACG New York closely, of course. Abilash, thank you so much for joining Growth TV.
My pleasure. Thank you.